Hi, in this video we're just going to look at two examples of quadratic equations that have slightly more complicated problems, and then there's a second video to look at a further two. Right, so let's have a look at this question. It says solve x minus 3 all squared equals x plus 5. Give your answer correct to three significant figures. So the first thing we should note is that if it says three significant figures, chances are we're not going to be able to factorize. It's obviously got a more complicated answer. And the second thing is that this is not the form that we want our quadratic in. So we're going to have to do a bit of rearranging. So we'll start with that. And of course, what we would be looking for is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So we, instead of using y, we set y to 0 so that we can solve it. Right, I'm going to start by writing that out in full. Equal to x plus 5. And then we're going to multiply out those brackets. So we get x squared. And then we've got minus 3x, so that's minus 6x, and plus 9 equals x plus 5. You should be identifying where you've got a square, you get the number doubled in the middle and multiplied at the end. And now what we want to do is set it to equal 0, so we are going to subtract x plus 5. So we end up with x squared minus 6x plus 9 minus x minus 5 equals 0. And now we're just going to tidy that up, collect like terms, and we get x squared minus 6x minus x gives us minus 7x, and 9 minus 5 gives us positive 4 equals 0. Quick look at that should tell you that it's not going to factorize because we've got either 2 2's, which is not going to make 7, or 4 and 1, again not going to make 7. So what we need to do is use the formula. So we are going to look at minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And in this case, a is equal to 1, it's the coefficient in front of our square. B is equal to minus 7, must include that sign, and C is equal to 4. Change pen and let's go ahead and write that up. So minus 7, and I'm going to just write that inside brackets so we know we've got that sign there. Plus or minus, and again we've got b squared, so I'm going to put minus 7 squared, and then we're going to subtract 4 times a, which is just 1, and c, which is also 4, and put all of that over 2a, which is just 2 times 1. Now that could go straight into your calculator, but what you might like to do is tidy it up a bit first to make it easier on you. Minus 7 is going to give us a positive 7. And then we've got plus or minus square root of, well, minus 7 squared is going to give us 49. And then we've got 4 times 1 times 4, which is 16. So we're going to subtract 16. And all of that is over 2 times 1, which is, of course, 2. Now we're ready to put it into our calculator. So we must remember to start with the fraction button, and then 7, and let's start with positive. So we're going to do plus square root of 49 minus 16, and then move it down and put 2 in the denominator, equals, and then we'll get it in surd form so we can hit SD to give us the value as a decimal because we want it to three significant figures. Three significant figures would give us 6.37. We don't need to round up because we've got a 2 after that. I'm just going to move this out of the way and let's write that down. So we get x equals 6.37. Now I'm going to bring the calculator back, go back up and replace that addition for a subtraction. I think actually that was already in there from the last time I did it. But yes, you need to make sure you've changed from plus to minus. And then if I click equals, we'll get obviously the same third, but with a different sign. Hit the SD button and you should get 0.6277, etc. Three significant figures, so we're going to cut off after 3 decimal places. But because there's a 7 immediately after that, we need to remember to round up. So it'll be 0.628. Or 0.628. And there we have done that first quadratic. Okay, let's move on to the second. So in the second one, again, it's really just that we haven't got it in the form that we want. So we need to rewrite this into this form. So we've got 2x minus 5 multiplied by 2x minus 5 equals 49. Let's do the brackets. We've got 2x times 2x is going to give us 4x squared. And then we're going to get a repetition in the middle term. So we've got 2x times minus 5, which is minus 10x. And then the same thing here. So minus 10x minus 10x. So that's going to give us minus 20x. And then minus 5 times minus 5 is going to give us positive 25. Okay, and that is equal to 49. So now we want to set it to equal 0, so we need to subtract 49 from both sides. 4x minus 20x plus 25 minus 49 equals 0. Oh, I've lost an x squared along there, sorry. 2x times 2x would be 4x squared. 4x squared minus 20x, and then plus 25 minus 49 is going to give us minus 24 equals 0. Now, you could just go straight ahead and type that into your calculator using the quadratic formula. But let's just have a look at this a minute, because although it looks more complicated because we've got this coefficient of 4, if we look at every term, they are all multiples of 4. So we can factor out 4 from each of those terms. And we can do that because it's equal to 0. So if we divide both sides by 4, we're still going to get our 0 here. But on this side, we would then get x squared. And then minus 20x divided by 4 would become minus 5x. And minus 24 divided by 4 would give us minus 6 equals 0. And there we have something that looks much easier to work with and perhaps can even be factorized. So let's have a look. Well, we are looking for a product of minus 6 and a difference of minus 5 because we've got a positive and a negative. So let's see. So we could have 1 and 6, which is looking good, and 2 and 3. Now, because one's a positive and one's a negative, we're looking for the difference that will give us 5. So that is going to be minus 6 plus 1. If you're not sure, pause the video and just have a go at that yourselves. So therefore, x equals -1 or x equals 6. Okay, that's the end of this video.